You don't say. Let's check this out. Hope it's true. Hope it's true.
Now, I believe it was Newton's third law of motion, which states that for every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. Unfortunately, it doesn't work quite the same way in the world of corporate entertainment, where the rule would be better described as, for every 50 or so actions, there's an extremely belated and insufficient reaction. A good example of this would be the disastrous series of flops we've seen over the past year or two. Projects like Rings of Power, Peter Pan and Wendy, Ahsoka, She-Hulk, Resident Evil, Robin Hood, The Witcher, The Marvels, and most recently, Madam Web. Why did you say that? I mean, let's be honest here, that was a movie that anyone with more brain cells than me after 6 pints of Skull Splitter knew was going to be a massive flop, despite having an opening weekend almost...
By the way, thank you all for telling me why Sydney Sweeney was so popular, and many of you sent me what to look for. Thank you.
As long as its entire theatrical run if it carries on at this pace. I love this quote from The Hollywood Reporter from a North American distributor. On Wednesday night, you could actually watch advance ticket sales declining in real time as buyers were refunding their tickets. Yep. It really says something when you'd rather have Shazam 2 numbers.
Yeah, a lot of you were wondering how people could get refunds on their movie tickets. Well, the way I buy it through Regal, you can refund up to, I believe it's an hour before showtime. So, yeah. And I do believe there's other reasons for, you know, like the movie messing up or, you know, maybe something happens in the theater, some rowdy stuff. I don't think you can get a refund for just saying it sucks. You know what I mean? But, yeah.
The point is that when a big flop like this happens, the access media tends to scramble to find a convenient and politically acceptable excuse. But in this case, The Hollywood Reporter seems to have made an admission about the film's target audience that I don't think anyone expected. Quote, I don't know if women are enough to carry the box office here, one veteran studio source outside of Sony says. Indeed, males make up 65 to 70% of the superhero audience in North America. In the case of Madam Web, the percentage of female viewers was still only 46%. Now pay attention, 007, because this one's important. Madam Web was a superhero movie specifically designed to appeal to a female audience. It's got a female lead, a trio of female supporting characters, a female director, and a female-led writing team. And guess what? None of it helped. Women didn't turn out to see it. Not in the numbers they needed anyway. It was the same... Yeah,
for it to work, it has to be good. Always remember that. For that to work, it has to be good. You know, I had a discussion with an ex-girlfriend one time, and she was a feminist. And a self-admitted feminist. However, not the type that exists today. Not the extreme side of it. There's just feminists that, you know, they want equality for men and women. Okay, it's great. That's how she was. However, we were discussing something that happened. And this girl said something to her about me. And when it was like, I've known this girl forever. And she had the nerve to say, and she was wrong. And my girl knew it. She was like, she's loyal to her sex. And I was like, wow. I never even thought about it like that. There are people that are like that. Like, no matter what. Like, there are women that will support women just because it's women doing women upon women upon women, and gave this woman this and this woman that, and women. Only some of y'all gonna know where that's from, and y'all should know. And there's men that are like that. I'm only gonna support. Hey, he's a man doing it. I'm only gonna support him. Oh, yeah. Well, let me tell him that I seen this girl over here. You know what I mean? It could be something totally harmless. They stay telling and doing this and that, and they only support stuff for men. But so it makes me think of this though. Like, that was just a side thought. Like, not all women will just support it just because you're gearing it toward them. You know how many black films there are out there? I haven't seen them all. Do you know how many things geared toward only men are out there? I haven't seen them all. You know how many things that are geared toward only straight men out there? I haven't seen them all. Like, there's a lot of the pockets that I fall into. It doesn't mean I'm going to go see it. Just because you're pushing it as, okay, the first black this, black man this, black that, black. It's got to be good. It's got to be good. You can tell me something my people are involved in and my ears will perk up. It'll get my attention. Now I have to see what's behind it. Is it nefarious? Are you doing something good? Is it preachy? Is it woke? Is it good? Is it Oscar worthy? It's got to be certain things for me to want to see it. And you cannot get me to see something just by forcing the fact that this person is my same race on it. And then telling me I'm a race traitor if I don't watch it, or I don't buy this product, or I don't do this and I don't do that. It's not right. It's not fair. And I mean, that's not how life is. Okay?
Problem with the Marvels. That film had 3 female leads, a female director, and an all-female writing team. And what happened to it? The male audience was put off by a movie that did everything except ban them from attending screenings. The much-anticipated female audience failed to show up, and as a result, it was the biggest box office flop in MCU history.
And let's add to that, us finding out that they're hiring all these writers and saying, don't read the source material. If that's not mistake number one, I don't know what is. If you think about that, it's probably the biggest mistake. Because you could have had something geared toward women, aka Barbie, and it'll do well if you write it right. I bet you they didn't do that with the Barbie people. I bet you they didn't do that with the Barbie writers. I bet you the Barbie writers knew everything about Barbie that is possible to know. But you do it with this, and you end up writing a story that none of the fans recognize, so they don't like it. They're not interested in it. It's like you go to a pizza parlor and you give us a bowl of Fruit Loops. I like Fruit Loops, but this is not what I came to the movie theater for. To your pizza parlor for. I came to get pizza, not Fruit Loops. Okay? Huh? I don't want Raisin Bran either. Can I get a pizza, please? That's what we want. Give us our pizza. Stop playing around with all your artificial ingredients and preservatives and junk food you're putting in the box. 'Cause it's killing us as fans.
So tell me, what exactly did these two movies have in common? That's right, they both tried to pander to an audience that was never going to see them in the first place. You know, it's actually kind of funny reading articles from mainstream outlets that cover stuff like this, because it's like watching someone with an almost complete jigsaw puzzle who simply refuses to put the final piece into place because they don't like the picture that it forms. Well, if they won't do it, then I'll have to do it for them. Because here's an inconvenient truth, dear viewer. Men and women tend to be interested in different things. I know, it's truly an earth-shattering revelation, but there it is. In fact, if you care to break down the box office statistics by gender, you'll find that women make up 85% of audiences for romance movies and 70% for musicals. Men, on the other hand...
That's why they're called chick flicks. Okay?
Make up 70% of the audience for superhero movies, 75% for action movies, and 65% for science fiction and fantasy. In fact, this nifty little graphic from the British Film Institute breaks down the preferred genres for men and women, and you can clearly see the difference in preference between them.
And you directly go against it. That is a seriously bad decision. You will go against these numbers. That is a... Oh, God. Oh, man. Oh, God. Oh, man.
That's not a good or a bad
What movie's that from? I want to see it.
That movie studios should pay attention to. Instead, they've been doing the exact opposite in recent years. They seem to regard audience demographics as a problem that needs to be fixed, instead of the inevitable result of different groups of people having different interests. And the thing is, their solution has produced the worst possible outcome for everyone. In the case of the big box office franchises like Marvel, Star Wars, Lord of the Rings, Star Trek, and others, which naturally tend to skew towards a male audience, they made a conscious decision to tell more stories with female leads. A lot more. There's nothing wrong with that on the face of it, but
wasn't that such an epic ending to that? It was just like she was so emotional, giving him this lightsaber, and he took off the hood. And he was all emotional, had that look on his face. We all thought it was going to be something great. Cue toilet flush.
But whether or not it works all comes down to implementation. Instead of writing likeable and distinctly feminine characters that complemented the existing male ones, the writers and creatives treated it more like a competition that only one side was ever allowed to win. A story about a female protagonist learning to free herself from the oppressive demands of others and discover her true potential is a perfectly viable story to tell. The problems creep in when that becomes the only story that you ever tell, and their standard practice of lazily taking stereotypical male traits and pouring them straight into female characters failed to win anyone over. Men were generally put off by the new crop.
Yeah, what is that? Like, you're softening the men, making them behave like females, and you're hardening the women, making them behave like males, and no one's buying it. Have you noticed that? It's not working.
Of overbearing, aggressive, infallible girl bosses who seem to exist.
It's weird. It's almost like you're fighting our nature. They try to fight our nature in the movies. Women tend to be just more of that feeling, emotional nature. They're into the love and sensitivity of these romance movies. Guys tend to be more aggressive. That's why we like action movies so much. It's just in our nature. It's how it is. And what are you doing, some giant experiment? I used to say that all the time. They have to be doing some type of giant social experiment to see what happens. It's failing horribly, but maybe not for them. Maybe they're getting the results they want from this experiment, if I'm correct. If this truly is an experiment, maybe they're getting the results they want. Or maybe they're getting this, this is amazing. These results right here are amazing. Look at this. Look at this. The YouTuber Tyrone Magnus. Listen to what he says here. Verbatim. Okay. Quote. It's like, I swear, and listen to this one. The critical drinker. Listen, they says the same thing. Neurotic, geeks and gamers. Now look, cross-reference this with what's going on Twitter. The mentally insane over there are attacking. Because we are feeding their tendencies, okay? They now attack the sane. Look at what we have done. We have twisted the world and nature into something that should have never existed.
Just purely to show off and humiliate their male counterparts at every opportunity, while women failed to connect with them either because they represented masculine ideals that didn't come naturally to them in a genre that most of them didn't particularly care for anyway. In short, Hollywood's wasted billions of dollars chasing an audience that doesn't...
I don't know what accent that was, but I was trying to sound like a mad scientist, quack doctor that's really smart and got some good paperwork to show the executives. Y'all got the picture.
Exist, and in the process they've gradually pushed away the one that did. On the flip side, look at what happens when you actually understand your target audience and make a film that caters specifically to them. Barbie was the biggest hit of 2023, and even if I personally didn't like it, that doesn't matter one bit because it wasn't made for me. It was a movie written and directed specifically for women. Everything from its aesthetic.
Well, I loved every part with Ken, almost every part with Ken. Ken was hilarious. He was the best part. That's the crazy part, right? Out of this movie that was made for women, Ken was the best part.
X, to its dialogue, to its themes and messaging, were designed to appeal to female audiences, and it worked big time. Top Gun Maverick, on the other hand, was aimed primarily at men because it incorporated so many of the masculine tropes and themes that men traditionally find appealing. Action and explosions, advanced technology, fighter jets, militarism, macho conflict and competition. Both of these films achieved massive success because they understood their core audience and how to appeal to them.
Who would have thought? Market to who the core audience is and you'll make money. You know what, Tyrone Magnus? I think it's a good idea for you to start only baking cakes on here and reviewing makeup, okay? And reviewing decor. And, and reviewing men's lingerie. Reviewing romance novels and reviewing you get the picture.
Now imagine how detrimental it would have been if the studios tried to incorporate elements that appealed to the opposite gender, like if Barbie's colourful exploration of female identity, empowerment and self-actualization was interrupted by big macho action scenes with guns and explosions and technology porn, or Top Gun Maverick devoted lengthy sequences to a female pilot lamenting how difficult it is to gain respect in a male-dominated profession while maintaining her sense of feminine identity and her aspirations for marriage and family. In both cases, the core target audience would probably have rolled their eyes and thought, why do they have to inject this crap into my movie and totally spoil the fun? Well, congratulations, now you know how it feels to be a fan of any of the big franchises over the past decade or so. The thing is, I think the message is finally starting to sink in with the good people of Hollywood. Maybe not the creatives, but definitely the soul.
You guys noticed that Wonder Woman did well, though? You know why Wonder Woman did well? Because they didn't push it in your face constantly. I'm a strong woman. I'm a strong woman. I'm a strong woman. Girl boss, girl boss. I'm smarter than everybody. I'm more capable than everybody else that's not a woman. Women, 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 women.
Money men paying their salaries who've spent the past several years watching their profit margins slowly fall off a cliff. Like I said earlier, for every 50 or so actions, there's a belated reaction from Hollywood, and it's finally starting to happen now. The first domino to fall is Silk Spider Society, a female-centric Spider-Man spin-off in development.
I heard about this, and now because of all the garbage coming out, and it's not making any money, they're going to gear it more toward men. What a thought. Men are more into superheroes.
Development at Amazon Prime. According to the press releases, the
Amazon Prime.
entire writing team's been fired and the show is being refocused with a more male-skewing audience in mind. Now, this might not sound like much of a big deal, but it is. Because it's the first time that a studio had the balls to publicly declare that they're targeting a project towards a male audience again. In 2024, that's the equivalent of a vegan restaurant saying that their new menu is going to cater towards meat eaters. It's the first time that anyone in Hollywood's openly admitted that what they've been pushing on us for the past decade or so just isn't working, no matter how much money they throw at it. That you can't make every movie appeal to every person. That trying to attract female audiences into a male-dominated genre with clumsy pandering doesn't work and never will work. In the words of Nerdrotic, all they're doing is taking boy brands that everyone could enjoy and turning them into girl brands that no one enjoys.
They're trying to turn them into girl brands. It's not happening and no one enjoys it, to be more specific.
So what exactly can we expect now that the pendulum's starting to swing the other way? And more importantly, what do we want to see moving forwards? Well, believe it or not, I don't think...
I want things to all go back to before Captain Marvel. That's what I want. I want that for all entertainment, for it to all go back to before Captain Marvel. Because we had Infinity War, right? Boom. But then they put that GirlBoss BS in Endgame. Even though I enjoyed it, I knew what they were doing. And at that point in time, my nerves with all this woke shit was not worked. You know what I mean? And inflamed and exposed to the point that it is now. Now I'm more like, you know, that 100-year-old grandfather that don't care if he hurts your feelings by telling you the truth. He's going to tell you the truth. I will always tell you the truth. I will never sell my soul to any type of movement, ever, for anything, for money, for fame, notoriety, nothing. I will just be unapologetically me.
Their approach needs to change that radically if they want to win back old fans and restore a bit of balance. Franchises like Marvel, Star Wars, DC and Star Trek can still have plenty of kick-ass female heroes going on exciting adventures. They just need to be written more like actual human beings with believable flaws and weaknesses and challenges to overcome, instead of overbearing, obnoxious power fantasies that nobody can identify with. And they need to be balanced out by equally strong and capable male heroes that appeal to male audiences. Because believe it or not, those are the driving force behind your box office revenue. They need characters who can actually challenge and push them to be better, who don't automatically give way to them at the slightest sign of conflict, instead of the neutered lumps of wet lettuce that we've been getting, who are always portrayed as less smart, less skilled, less confident, and, well, just less in general. And yeah, after almost a decade of trying to make it work, I think it's about time to accept that the great experiment has been a complete failure.
This made me think, you know, people were talking about how they took away Rogue's booty, and, you know, I did a video on it. People lied on me all over Twitter saying that I was mad that they took it away. I was discussing what fans we're talking about. That's what I was. I don't have any problem with it. However, it makes me think about how, oh, wait a minute, wait, you took away, you're taking away Rogue's curves. If that's true, why are you letting She-Hulk twerk with Meg the Stallion? What? Wouldn't they both of those shows be sexualizing the character then? So why leave one in and take the other out? Weird.
You're not going to get equal numbers of women to watch science fiction or action or superhero movies, just like you're not going to get equal numbers of men to watch romance flicks or musicals. The GirlBoss concept is dead. You might not like it, but your audience is your audience all the same, and if you don't start catering to them, you might just find that they no longer exist, and perhaps neither will you. Anyway, that's all I've got for today. Go away now.
I hope that you are correct, sir. I really, 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 really do. Oh, God. Post comments down below. Let me know what y'all think. Get over to the Critical Drinker. Subscribe. Tell them Tyrone Magnus sent you. If you enjoy what I had to say, hit the like button, subscribe, and ciao.